it seems to be that the price that we have to pay is going to be much higher than the price that we're anticipating that we need to pay to raise a new generation out of the 414 window to transform the world. Most of us have been hearing about Malala these last couple of years, a 16-year-old person that knows exactly what it means to pay a price to do advocacy for the little girls in Pakistan. I wonder if we understand what the secular media understand. This 16-year-old Malala have been nominated as the 100 most influential person in Time magazines and also nominated for the Nobel Prize. Right, Luis, sometimes I think that the secular media have more faith in the younger generation than our evangelical theologians or some of our Christian leaders. Can the Christian church have a global vision for children and youth, for the future, and for the present? Can we renew a global vision in our local churches that will target the 414 window at the core of our mission? Can we restore hope by planting more and better churches among the 414ers? It is possible to revitalize or innovate, as we heard this week, the existing churches in order to serve the next generation. Can we re-educate our churches to target the 414 window and be relevant and do a kind of disciple that is different of how we were discipled, but they need to be discipled in a different way? Can we release and empower children and youth to do God's mission in the future? What decision need to be made to position this church, our Christian church, to effectively and faithfully fulfill this call? What priority must be embraced to see the church attract the hopes and dreams of a new generation of believers? Can our kind of church reach, rescue, rooted, and release this kind of 414ers in the world? I believe there's a lot of change that we need to do in our own selves, in our own churches. But the question is, are we willing to pay the price? Are we willing to pay the price as a denomination, Christian leaders, churches, and respond to this call, to this divine call, to this divine movement? See, if your denomination is already a monument, embrace the 414 window so you become a movement. There's too many denominations around the world declining or dying because of a lack of a vision for today. And it's important to say, yes, I want to pay the price. The cost to reach is something that the Church of God have been learning in the last few years. And as a leader, a denominational leader, I understand that God is expecting me to use my position of influence to influence my denomination. I am serving the Latin American Church of God, and in the last few years, God has been dealing with my heart, and I understand that if I don't do it, I cannot expect to somebody else, perform what is our responsibility. We need to influence those people that have influence, and I took advantage in the last couple of years, inviting people like Luis Buch and Dan Brewster, Enrique Pinedo, other people to all our conferences, church conferences in Latin America, because I knew that we needed to take advantage of those moments to bring 414 Window Initiative into our agenda in Latin America. You must be intentional. And I'm so glad to tell you that right after that, we have our General Assembly, and with 18,000 people, we accepted a resolution. We have come together, we said at the Church of God, to ask God to forgive us for our failure to do what we could and should do for children as gifts from above, and we commit ourselves and our institution to improve and increase our effort for the equipping, care, and mobilization of the children and their families in the 414 window for the holistic transformation of the world. And we become involved in bold initiatives, engaging and seeking to equip a new generation to transform the world. That was beautiful to hear that from my leaders and from my church constituency, that they were embracing this very important initiative as one of our main commitment, missional commitment for the future. Let's go to the second one, please. The cause of rescue them has been a process for us, and even though we have been working with children in different ways, but we have been understanding in the last few years, how important it is not to use children to plant churches, because we have done a lot, in Latin America. It's easy to plant, a children's church so you can reach the adults. When you reach the adults, you marginalize the children, because now you have the people that can pay tithe, But that's not the thing, we need to learn how to reach and rescue children. And we have great models of people doing an excellent job on this area. For instance, Teresa Susan in Ecuador, she realized how many street children we have in the streets of Quito, Ecuador, shoeshine young fellows that could not go to school because they needed to work during the day, shining shoes. And she started a ministry there, reaching them and rescuing them, and teaching them the word, and feeding them, and providing education for them, and planting a church among them and with them. It's amazing what Teresa is doing. The private business saw what was happening here, and they called Teresa and said, you do this with about 200 children. We would like to help you financially to do that with 1,000 of those children in Quito, Ecuador. So we're going to give you 100,000 a year to perform that work. It's amazing, how the city reacts immediately, giving you resources when you have a clear vision and when you transform the city. Pastor Rosalva Perez, who is here, we introduced her just in our track, a young, beautiful lady that God called 12 years ago, and she was getting to marry someone, and the Lord spoke to her and said, listen, you get married, and you will be a very happy person and have a wonderful family, but I will give you an option to go to Cota, Colombia, to do something different, and have and not only you be happy, but a whole city will be happy because of your ministry. So she accepted that call and went to Cota, Colombia, and in a few years she planted a church, a single person, 400 people church, and trained that church to be sensitive to the community, a holistic church. And immediately established a school, because that was the greatest need in the area. 300 children going to school. After 2-3 years of doing that, they became in the top ranking school because of the excellence of the education in Colombia. Immediately saw their situation with little girls being victimized because of the people displacement in the place, and they purchased a house where they call it, they have their princess, and we're ministering them, and they have helped and transformed the life of many of those young girls, 60 today, and most of them now are going to the university. So rescuing them is a high cost, and Rosalva have been using and mobilizing these children and these girls to provide hot meals for 500 people every week, in areas in Cota, Colombia. So you're talking about one person, one church, mobilizing and doing all kinds of things to transform one city. It's amazing what God can do right there, the next one, please. The cost to root them is probably the greatest challenge that we have in the Church of God in Latin America. And we receive a lot of orientation from Compassion International, tremendous partners for us to use our Bible schools in Latin America and promote holistic child development. When you have a network of Bible schools and seminaries, and you realize that in very few places they have almost nothing on children in their curriculum, you say, my goodness, we're wasting a tremendous space to train the future generations. So we started designing curriculum, and we have Julio Amarillo from Uruguay here. He did an excellent job with his team developing a holistic child development curriculum for Uruguay, for a Bible school there that we are going to export to all Latin America. We're in the process. But we want every Bible school in every nation in Latin America, to have 414 window, topics in every other majors and specialized programs as well. We were able to establish the first holistic child development master program at the seminary in Quito, Ecuador. It was so successful that one of our private universities in the United States, Lee University, saw that and visited us, copied the whole thing, exported it to Cleveland, Tennessee, where Lee University operates with 4,000 students, and got the accreditation for the holistic child development from SACS, and now they already graduated some people on holistic child development in the United States. So now the southern hemisphere is influencing the northern hemisphere. Amen. No wonder our graduates are ill-equipped for this moment. No wonder they're not connecting with the younger generation. They have not been trained. And the biggest challenge that we have here is to disciple people in the local churches. And we need to train the Generation Y and teenagers today so they can be mentors for the 414ers, because they are beside the family, they are the best mentors, to disciple the 414ers. It's so good, and I have seen that. In Chile, we have a good experience with Daniel Romo planting churches with teenagers. And their members are children. So they have planted in 2 years 12 churches with teenagers reaching children. It's a beautiful model in Chile, and that is a sign of hope, because it's so beautiful when you see children, teenagers discipling 10 years old, 12 years old, in a weekly basis. So I think that there's much to learn about that, because children in our churches need to feel active, and that has to be with releasing. We need to release them, to do the work of the Lord. In the last year, my whole denomination was inspired by a life of a 7-year-old adopted Brazilian girl, Marceli Thompson, from Recife. Her family were in transition, in ministerial transition, and they were praying for the next place of ministry. And one night she was crying, and when they went to see Marcelis, she had a dream, and she told her parents, I dreamed Jesus was visit me last night, and Jesus told me that I will be preaching to the children in Africa. 6 months later, they were appointed to go to Liberia, Africa, to do ministry in one of the orphanages there. So today, Marcelis is already making friends, with African people, children, teaching them Portuguese, and preaching the gospel. But the beauty of this is that she has inspired so much our denomination that in 1 year, the Marcela Dream have raised almost $1 million to buy children Bibles, to provide children Bibles to thousands of children around the globe. And my denomination sent Marcelis a report every month to let her know how much money is coming in and how many Bibles are going out, because it had to do with her dream. We have no reason to apologize for the 414 window. Denominational leaders, this is the season of the Spirit. We need to accept this tremendous responsibility. It's a godly thing, it's a godly movement. And Jesus himself celebrated this at the cross. The final expressions of Jesus at the cross was for the 414 window. You know, I have seen many pictures, portraits of Jesus. Most of the portraits, you can see Jesus crying, very sad, very depressed. I have seen some of the portraits where Jesus is smiling, but I have never seen a portrait of Jesus singing. And of course, he sang a lot with his disciples, hymns and choruses, But the beauty of this image is when we see Jesus at the cross, finishing the task, doing, what he needed to do for you and for me. In his last minute, in the last moment of suffering, he decided to sing a song. Because we know that he sang Psalm 22. Psalms, you don't read the Psalms, you don't recite the Psalms, you sing the Psalms. So the last thing that he does at the cross is to sing, my God, why have you forsaken me? Why are you so far from me, so far from my cries or anguish? He trusts in the Lord, they say. Let the Lord rescue him. Let him deliver him, since he delighted in him. Yet you brought me, remember he's singing, yet you brought me out of the womb. You made me trust in you, even at my mother's breast. That's a beautiful place to learn about trust. From birth, I was cast on you. From my mother's womb, you have been my God. Wow, he had been rooted. Posterity will serve him. My children and your children will serve him. All future generation of children will serve him. Future generations will be told about the Lord by the children. But our children of the children of our children, they will proclaim his righteousness, declaring to a people yet unborn. Luis, probably you have to expand the window a little bit. I don't know. Unborn children, say, declaring to people yet unborn. Declaring to people yet unborn. He has done it. He did what he said that he will do. And in this psalm, we have, the reaching, the rescuing, the rooted, and the releasing. And I think that we had to go here with that challenge. Please, leaders, denominational leaders, you, me, everybody, let's use our influence and influential positions to redirect and to align our resources and denominations and churches for this last hour. And together, walk in the direction that the Lord himself is inviting us to go. God bless you.